Hello, my dear students. This is Hina Kausar, and welcome back to the class. So, in the previous session, we had discussed regarding electric dipole placed in an uniform electric field, and also we had discussed electric field in a non-uniform electric field. What did we observe? We observed when we placed an electric dipole in a uniform electric field, it showed a property called torque, right? It experienced a torque, and we found that expression for torque is vector tau is equals to vector p cross vector e. And what about the direction of the torque? We saw that the direction of the torque is perpendicular to the plane containing both this dipole moment and as well as electric field. And some special cases also we had discussed when theta is equals to 0 degree or theta is equals to 90 degree or theta is equals to 180 degree, right? So when theta is equals to 90 degree, torque will be maximum experienced by the electric dipole when it is placed in the uniform electric field, right? Similarly, when theta is equals to 0 degree, which means the angle between the dipole moment and the electric dipole, if that angle is equals to 0 degree, then the torque which is experienced will be minimum, that is equals to 0. Similarly, in case of 180 degree as well, which means when dipole moment is placed opposite to that of uniform electric field, right? In that case also we observe torque is equals to 0, right? And also we had discussed about electric dipole when it is placed in a non-uniform electric field, right? Non-uniform electric field means field lines will be either curved or straight, right? So in that case also what we observed, although the electric dipole experience a net force, but it will not experience as a torque because the forces which are acting on the two charges of the electric dipole will be unequal, right? Therefore, it will not experience the electric. Therefore, it will not experience any torque, right? Similarly, we observed electric dipole when we placed in an increasing electric field, which means the dipole moment will be acting in opposite direction to that of the increasing field, right? So in that case also what we observed, although the electric dipole experienced a net force which was acting along the dipole moment, but still it doesn't experience any torque, right? Similarly, if we place the electric dipole in the increasing field direction, increasing field ಯಾವ direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅದೇ direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ electric dipole moment ನ ನಾವು place ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗ ಕೂಡ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, we observe net force on the electric dipole, but we will not observe any torque, right? So torque will be experienced only when the electric dipole is placed in an uniform electric field, right? So all these things we had discussed in the. So in today's session, let us try to discuss regarding a new concept called as electric flux. So to know precisely about this electric flux, let us consider a general example. Okay, so here I have considered a general example where I considered a rectangular glass channel. Okay, you can observe here. So this is a rectangular glass channel through which water can flow. Okay, so one more thing I have done, at one end I have placed a jar where the flowing water can be collected, and at the other end you can see I have made a arrangement of a wall. Okay, so I have represented it as V1. So this is a wall according to which we can adjust this window, right? The area of the window we can adjust. So the quantity of water which can be collected over in this jar will depend on two things, right? One will be the velocity with which the water will enter this wall, right? If there is more velocity in this water, then what happens? It will the quantity of water which can be passing through this wall will be greater, right? So that will be one factor, and the other factor will be it depends on the area of this wall, right? If we keep this window larger, then what happens? Great quantity of water can flow through this channel, right? Or else if we tighten this wall and make the path smaller, which means the area, if we decrease the area of this window, what happens? then obviously the amount of water which can flow through this channel will be lesser. So the quantity which can be collected over in this jar will be less. So in short, two factors will be depending upon the quantity of water which can be collected here. Which are those two factors? One will be the velocity of the water here, right, which is entering this wall, and the second is the area of this window, right. If velocity is large, the quantity which we can collect here is large. If the velocity is small, the quantity will be less, right. Similarly, if the area of this wall, if the area of this window is more, then the the quantity of water which can flow here in the and collected in the jar will be more. If the window is smaller, the area is small, then what happens? The flow of water will be smaller, and the quantity of the water which has been collected in this jar will be less, right? So a very simple example. I hope you have understood this. Instead of keeping this wall normal to this flow of water, right? Perpendicular agi ನಾವು ಈ flow of water ಗೆ ಈ wall na ನಾವು set ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. So area of the window we are adjusting in that way, right? So instead of keeping it normal or perpendicular to the flow of the water or velocity of the water, say suppose for example, if we have tilted it with certain angle, okay, say suppose a certain angle theta, right, then what happens? Obviously, the orientation of this area of the window will affect the flow of water, right? The quantity of water which can be collected in the jar, it will depend upon the orientation of this window, right? If it is normal, then greater amount of water can be flow through that wall, right? And if it is tilted with certain angle, if the orientation of the area of that window is tilted with certain angle theta, then obviously a less amount of water can flow through that window, right, which is contained in this wall, right. Now, how do we analog this concept with that of what we are learning, that is electric flux, right? So let us see how we can compare this situation with that of electric flux. Okay, so in this example, what we considered, the water which is flowing through the channel, it depends upon two different terms. That is, one will be the velocity with which it is passing, and the other will be the area of the window, right? So if the area of the window is normal to the velocity, then the amount of water which is flowing will be more, which is flowing through that area is more. If the area of the window is tilted with certain angle theta, then the amount of water which can flow through that window will be lesser, right? And it also depends upon the direction as well, right? In which direction it is flowing, right? So the water flow which is linked with this area, right? So that water we call it as water flux in this example, right? So just like the water flux depends on two quantities, that is the velocity of the flowing water and also the area of that window, right, from which it is passing. So this quantity, water flux, is depending upon these two factors. Similarly, electric flux, which is represented by phi, is depending upon two factors here. One is the electric field intensity, right? So the strength of the electric field which is passing through the area, and the surface area which we are considering, with which the electric lines of forces are passing through, right? So that area. So it depends upon those two quantities over here, right? So so in simple terms, how do we define it? Electric flux linked with any surface is defined as the total number of electric lines of force that normally pass through that surface. Andre ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ, irrespective of the shape, whatever may be the shape. If we are considering that the electric field lines are passing through that surface, right? So the quantity of the electric field lines which is linked with that surface, which are passing normally through that surface, that quantity of electric field lines, we call it as electric flux. To understand that, let us consider an example. I have considered an irregular shaped surface area that is represented by capital S here. and I will be applying electric field, uniform electric field on this surface area, right? So how do we represent uniform electric field? Usually by parallel straight lines, right? Parallel straight electric field lines we will draw, and we will call it as uniform electric field. So I just applied the uniform electric field on this complete surface, right? So if I have to know what is the total electric flux linked with this complete surface, ಈ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, I can consider a small surface area, right, over this small area of cross section in this whole surface, right? ಈ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, and that small surface area, let us say that is represented by ds. Okay, so this is a small area element which I have represented as ds. So this surface will be having certain amount of electric flux because only few electric field lines will pass through the small area, right? So the amount of electric flux will also be small, which can be represented by d phi is equals to vector E dot vector ds. What is electric flux? We know electric field lines which is passing through certain surface area. Since we have considered a small surface element, therefore we represented it as ds, and the electric field which we have applied is vector E. So we have taken the same vector E, right? So dot product of these two will be nothing but the electric flux, because electric flux is a scalar quantity. Since it's a scalar, therefore we can take the dot product of two vectors. If it was a vector quantity electric flux, then we would have took the cross product of these two vectors. Since it's a scalar, we represent it by the dot product of electric field and the small surface area, right? If we consider only the magnitude, then the electric flux will be equal to E into ds into cos theta. Which is this angle theta? This angle theta, it is the angle between the electric field vector and as well as the surface area element vector, right? So I will talk about this area, how we have considered this as vector quantity. You all will be getting surprised, like how area we are considering here as a vector. Okay, I'll talk about that in detail later. But for now, you understand that electric flux is nothing but what? It is the dot product of electric field and the surface area vector. If you consider only the magnitude, then it can be written as E into ds cos theta, where theta is the angle between the normal of this area vector. Area vector na navu en martivi, we usually draw normal to the surface which we are considering, so that represents the direction of that area vector, and the angle between that normal and the electric field, so that is this cos theta. Now this is the small electric flux which is produced due to the small area element. But what about the total electric flux of this surface? The complete surface in electric flux enagirutte? How we can calculate? We can consider such small area elements throughout this surface, right? ಈ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಇಂಥದೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. Since we know the electric flux linked with the small element, we can consider the electric flux to those elements as well, right? And finally, when we add up those electric flux, small electric flux, that will be the total electric flux due to the whole surface, right? For that, let us consider one more small surface element. Say suppose ds vector. Here the normal to the surface element will be in this direction. So it is making certain angle theta with respect to the electric field. Similarly, one more area we can consider, small area which is making certain 90 degree of angle with respect to the electric field. Similarly, one more surface area element we can consider, a small area element that is ds, one more ds, which is making certain angle theta with respect to this electric field. This you can consider it as 180 degree, right? Similarly, one more surface element I have considered here, which is making certain angle theta with respect to this electric field, right? All such small area elements, ಈ ಎಲ್ಲಾ small area elements ಇಂದ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, small electric fluxes ಕೂಡ generate ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, right? Because few number of electric field lines will be passing through that small areas, right? So therefore what happens, when we add up all such small elements, that will give us the total electric flux, which is represented by phi. So here what we will do, we will calculate the total flux of this surface S, right, by adding up all the electric fluxes due to all these small area elements. So if we have to add up mathematically, to get the exact value, we will integrate that term, that is vector E dot vector ds na naven martivi, integrate martivi over this complete surface, right? So on integrating, we get the total flux, electric flux of this surface. Electric flux is a scalar quantity. As I said earlier, it's a scalar quantity. Why it is a scalar quantity? It is very evident from this equation, right? So dot product of any two vectors, the product quantity will be a scalar. And you can also observe here, electric flux is just, it is the total number of field lines which is linked with the surface. It is giving only the magnitude of the quantity. It is not talking about anything regarding the direction, right? So although the electric flux is linked with the vector field, but it's not a vector quantity, it's a scalar quantity, right? And how do we measure this electric flux? It is usually denoted by the SI unit of electric flux is Newton meter square per coulomb or Joule meter per coulomb. So one more important thing what you should know regarding this electric flux is that area. Usually area we consider it as a scalar, but in this context we are using it as a vector quantity. Therefore, the area element, whichever we consider it, we refer it as a area vector, right? So what is the area vector? Any small area of the surface which we consider, that can be represented as a vector. So therefore that part we call it as a area vector in this context. Okay, say consider a small surface. I have considered a rectangular small surface, yes. In that surface, if we consider a small area element ds, then the normal which is drawn to that surface, that is represented by unit vector n, that gives the direction of that area element, right? Magnitude of that surface can be represented by ds, whereas the direction always we can take a normal drawn to that surface, which is represented by unit vector n. Therefore, that surface we can call it as a area vector. Usually it is denoted by ds vector, right? So ds vector is equals to ds into n cap vector, where ds is the magnitude of that area and n cap is the unit vector which gives the direction of that area, small surface area. So therefore, in this electric flux, the area is considered as a vector quantity. Got it? Now, let us see some special cases. What happens when electric flux will be having positive value? If the theta in this equation, you can see EDS cos theta. In this equation, if theta is having such a value which is less than 90 degree, it is between 0 and 90 degree, then the electric flux value will be positive. Okay, if the theta is lying between 0 to 90 degree, then phi electric flux will be positive. Suppose if theta is 90 degree, then what happens to the electric flux? Electric flux will be obviously it will be 0. Why? Because cos 90 degree is 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Therefore, electric flux value will become 0. And suppose if the theta is lying between 90 degree and 180 degree, greater than 90 degree and less than 180 degree, then electric flux value will become negative, because cos cos theta between 90 degree to 180 degree, those values will become negative. Therefore, electric flux will also become negative. Okay. Now, let's consider few different cases where we can study the electric flux, right? First case we will study for the open surfaces, right? Open agi plane surface idre electric flux, how it is linked with such kind of open surfaces. For that, let us consider this example. Okay, I have considered a rectangular shaped open surface here. Open means it is not enclosed, right? Idu box tara enclose agilla. It's just a plain surface. Fine. So we know that electric flux linked with any surface is given by surface integral of vector E dot vector ds. So magnitude of which can be given as Es into cos theta. Or in simple terms, you can take it as vector E dot vector S. If the surface area is normal, right? Normal andre electric field ಗೆ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ನಾವ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವೋ ಅದೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಆ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾಗೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅವಾಗ theta between the normal drawn to the surface area and the electric field, that value will be 0 because both those things are parallel. Electric field and the surface direction vector, that is unit vector, is parallel. Therefore, theta value will be 0. If theta is 0, then what about cos theta? Cos theta value becomes cos 0 degree will be equal to 1. We know that value, right? Therefore, this electric flux value becomes Es because cos theta value is unit, which means electric flux which is linked with the surface will be maximum when the surface is placed parallel to the electric field. I mean, the surface direction should be parallel to the electric field direction and the surface should be normal to the electric field. Okay. So, in this case, electric flux is maximum. What about if surface area is tilted with certain angle theta? Say, suppose that theta value is 90 degree. Okay, na? Surface area ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಗೆ ಆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಅದು say this normal, it is making certain angle theta. Here theta I have considered as 90 degree to that of electric field. Electric field ಗೆ 90 degree angle ಅದು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, we know cos 90 degree is 0. Therefore, anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So, electric flux linked with this surface area will be 0. Right? So, whenever electric field is normal to the surface vector, then what happens? The electric flux linked with such surfaces will be minimum. Right? So, this is about the electric flux which is through open surfaces. Instead of open surface, if we consider a closed surface, just in this example, right? See, I have considered here an irregular shaped closed surface. What will be the difference? Electric flux ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. Just in this example, you can see a small area element we have considered as dA, and for that small area element we have drawn a normal, right? ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೈನ್ ನ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಆ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೈನ್ ಏನ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, it represents the direction of that area. Okay, and that normal is making certain angle theta with respect to the electric field, right? So, ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ small surface area elements ನ throughout this complete closed surface ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್ ನ ಸಮ್ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಹೌ ಡು ವಿ ಸಮ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಪ್? ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ಬೈ ದ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಲ್, ರೈಟ್? So, if we integrate this d phi, so d phi is the electric flux which is due to the small area element. So if we integrate such small electric flux to this complete closed surface, then that complete integral will give the total electric flux through this closed surface. So one difference you can observe between this electric flux through closed surface and the open surface. Open surface ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವು integral notation in ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, usually we just draw a line like this, right? If we consider it for a closed surface, then we draw a small circle over the integral. This represents the surface which we are considering is a closed surface. Okay, so closed surface shape na consider ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ integral symbol ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, integral draw ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು small circle na draw ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, right? And one more important thing you should know about it is area vector. Open surfaces ಅಲ್ಲಿ area vector direction ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, we can take it in two ways. It can be either in the outward or inward direction. Inward direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ನ, ಅಥವಾ ಔಟ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸಸ್, what about the area vectors? The area vectors will be always considered in outward direction. Outward direction now conventionally ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, for our calculation of electric flux, we usually take the area vectors always acting in outward direction. Okay, so this is about the electric flux, right? So just have a quick review what we have learned relating to electric flux. Electric flux andre enu? Electric flux, it is linked with any surface, is defined as the total amount of electric field lines which are normally passing through that surface. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಪಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದಟ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್, ಆ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿನ ನಾವು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್ ಲಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದಟ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Mathematically it can be represented by a letter called phi. Okay, if the element, surface element, we have considered it as small ds, then the electric flux linked with the small element will be d phi is equals to vector E dot vector ds. Since electric flux is a scalar quantity, therefore we have took the dot product of these two vectors, that is the electric field vector and the area vector. If we consider only the magnitude, so d phi can be represented as E into ds into cos theta. If we have to take the total electric flux of the whole complete surface, then we just sum up all the small elements of electric flux. Therefore, we will integrate the term. So phi will be equal to integral of vector E dot vector ds, right? And it's a scalar quantity. Electric flux is a scalar quantity. Its SI unit is Newton meter square per coulomb or joule meter per coulomb. Then in case of open surfaces, electric flux will be maximum when the angle between the surface area vector normal ಏನ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವೋ ಆ ಲೈನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ಥೀಟಾ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, 0 ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವಾಗ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಇಫ್ ದ ಏರಿಯಾ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ 90 degree with that of electric field for an open surface, then in that case the electric flux will be minimum. For a closed surface, everything, rest of the things are same. For a closed surface also we consider small area elements. Then for those small area elements we consider normal which is drawn as the area vector direction, right? And then what we do, we consider the small electric fluxes due to those small area elements. And at the end, to get the net electric flux, we just sum it up by using the mathematical integration, right? The only difference is the integral notation what we use. For a closed surface, we usually denote it by a small circle over the integral, right? And the term is the same, the electric field which is passing through those closed surface, that is electric vector E, and the area vector which we are considering, that is dA vector. So closed integral of vector E dot vector dA gives the total electric flux for a closed surface. Okay, so this is about the electric flux as an application of this electric flux, right? So where we can use this electric flux in our practical application, so that we will see in the next concept. So in the next session, we will learn about Gauss law. Till then, take care.